bitch.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be talking about Siphoners from the Vampire Diary universe. So I'm pretty sure in 2021, everyone knows what the Vampire Diary is. It's a TV show about a fictional world that includes many genres like mystery, drama, and most importantly, romance and the supernatural. And the Vampire Diaries showcase many different supernatural creatures like witches, vampires, werewolves, psychics, and many different hybrids of said creatures. But today we're going to focus on siphons. I'll probably talk about the other creatures in their own videos. But siphons, what are they? Siphons are a subsection of witches that are born without the innate ability to generate their own magic. But they do have a rare ability that lets them absorb magic from many different sources. And I want to get more into this so you can get a better understanding. When I say they can absorb or siphon magic from other sources, I basically mean they can siphon anything from the supernatural world, from vampires, werewolves, and witches. To magical artifacts.
I'm sorry.
And spells. And this is possible because everything supernatural is very much magic origin based. And it has to be said, they are considered abominations, mainly by the Gemini Coven, which is really stupid because they didn't ask to be born that way. But moving on. Not too much is known about how Siphoners came into existence. Surprisingly, the writers never gave us a set explanation on how Siphoners came about. But I'm not saying it won't happen because they do have an ongoing show, and two of the main characters are Siphoners, so they might finally explore that. But my headcanon, and I'm pretty sure a lot of others have been, Siphoners are a result or consequence for the merges that happened in the Gemini Coven. Think of it like this. The merge is a curse that was placed on the Gemini Coven that made it so the twins in their coven would have to do a ritual so that the stronger twin would win, absorb the other twins' magic, and some of their qualities. Plus, they become the new leaders of the coven. Now, this is wrong for many reasons, but it does need to be said, all of the coven lives are linked, so if they don't merge and find a new leader before the old one dies, they all die. So they're basically forced. But again, that doesn't stop the consequences. I like to compare the merge to that of inbreeding. And if you know anything about inbreeding, you know the process of it can cause a lot of genetic disformities for their offsprings. And I think that's the same for merging. People are obviously not supposed to be merging, especially with their sibling. So in return, some of the coven members' children come out as siphons rather than witches. The first Siphoner we ever see is Kai Parker, and he was trapped in the 1994 prison world. He was the son of Joshua Parker, twin of Josette, and the oldest of 5 other siblings. And crazy enough, he eventually kills every single person I just named, except his younger sister Olivia, aka Liv. Now I could not go on and say all that without talking about his childhood and mental health, because it's very traumatic. So we do learn that Kai is a sociopath, and I know what some of you guys are already thinking. Oh, that's why he's doing all these terrible things. And I'm going to stop you right there and say yes and no. And I say that because there is still a lot of stigma around mental health. So when people hear sociopath, they immediately think psycho-murderer, when sometimes that's not the case. They can live very normal lives. They just lack empathy to connect with others. That doesn't mean they're going to turn into mass murderers. But one thing I will say that helped Kai become the way he was the abuse he suffered from his family. If you know anything about his backstory, you know that he was treated terrible and like an outcast just because he was born a siphoner, something he couldn't even control. He wasn't even allowed to touch anyone as a kid. And this experience is very common for siphoners like the ones I'm going to break up now, the heretics. So the heretics. They were a powerful coven of witch vampire hybrids. Every member originated from the Gemini coven, and the coven consisted of Valerie, Nora, Oscar, Bo, Mary Louise, and Malcolm. And because of their siphoner status, they was banished from their coven. And luckily for them, they were able to come in contact with Lily Salvatore, and she basically treated them like her new family. Now she does eventually turn them after finding out what they can become. They then decide around 1903 to take revenge on their coven, but instead, they get trapped in a prison world. They do eventually escape, and they try to live a normal life in Mystic Falls, but that doesn't go right. And by the end of their arc, only one heretic is left alive, Valerie, which I'm okay with, but I'd love for Nora to have stayed alive too. But between all the Gemini Coven and heretic drama, two Siphoner twins would be conceived, and their names are Josie and Lizzie Saltzman. And watching them grow up was nice because while they didn't suffer the abuse like the other Siphoners did, thankfully, they did struggle with their abilities, which led Alaric to create a school for them. Siphoners possess the rare ability to absorb nearly all forms of magic from external sources. As I stated earlier, they can siphon basically everything in the supernatural world. Witches, vampires, werewolves, psychics, werewolf bites, vampire blood, monsters, etc. They can even unravel some of the most sophisticated and powerful spells. That's why I said they can undo the supernatural because everything comes from magic. Another benefit that comes with being a siphoner is that they can detect magic in objects or other beings, so it makes it easier to know what to siphon. And as you know, once they absorb the magic, they can do anything a witch can. Now there are downsides to being a siphoner, like without generating your own magic, you're basically a human. And when you siphon magic, you're on a ticking time clock because siphoners can't hold on to magic for that long. But there is a loophole to help with this. It was discovered that if you turn a siphoner into a vampire, they'll be able to retain their siphoning ability so they'll have a constant source to siphon magic from. Plus on top of that, they are a vampire, so they're immortal and they have vampire abilities. So all in all, they are one of the most dangerous creatures, and I'll debate anyone on that. To give my end thoughts, I really like siphoners. Like if I had to choose to be a supernatural creature, I would choose to be a siphoner. I just think they're the best. And I also think they're allegory for a lot of things, but that's definitely another video. But tell me your thoughts on how you feel about siphoners down below. Do you like them or hate them? And make sure to subscribe for more content.